So, I cracked the code on interdimensional travel. Here's how you do it. Firstly, everyone has the capacity to do this. It's inherent to being human, probably being a living thing. It's just a question of if you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Sorry, I'm taking care of like some little puppies. So if you hear them screaming, it's because they're jumping all over each other. Anyway, it's whether or not you're doing it consciously. So we're constantly shifting from one dimension to the next because of our thoughts. The trick or the game is becoming conscious of this process and learning how to master your thoughts in order to navigate between dimensions skillfully. Imagine your mind as like this interdimensional time machine or some kind of navigation vessel. Your consciousness is inhabiting your mind and basically using it as a tool to transition from one realm to the next and to the next and to the next. These realms are interconnected through like a massive tree. Basically, when you tune into a certain, I call it like an aesthetic domain. So it's basically like all of the thoughts, feelings, and sensations associated with something or associated with like this, they like cluster together. Like for instance, the smell of oranges is tied to the feeling of sunshine, which is tied to certain types of music. I don't know, like Sublime or something. That's an aesthetic domain. So these things are linked through this sort of psychic energy, and its vibration, it's all of that. The process of transitioning between dimensions is a process of tuning. And again, we're doing this all the time without realizing it. Whenever you have a certain thought or experience a certain emotion or a certain sensation, you are literally traveling between dimensions, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beginning to develop your skills with recognizing these aesthetic domains, being able to sense them, being able to perceive them, and then being able to enter into them through these access points. What do I mean by access points? The smell of oranges is an access point to the aesthetic domain that I outlined earlier. So is listening to Sublime. So is experiencing sunlight on your face or whatever. These are the entry points, right? And it's not even just, it doesn't even have to be like a physical thing, like listening to music or smelling something. It can literally just be imagining that that's happening in your head. Like picture in your brain right now that you're smelling an orange. That's an entry point into this certain dimension, into this certain aesthetic domain. And so to be able to recognize that, to be able to sort of hone this sense, this sort of psychic sense of recognizing the qualitative properties, the qualia of a certain aesthetic domain, is how you master your ability to interdimensional travel. It's how you, in a certain sense, return to the helm of your own quantum jumper in your brain and be able to shift between realms at will rather than doing so unconsciously and just getting knocked around by the waves of psychic influence that are constantly all around us. So it's being able to like focus and direct yourself and your thoughts to the reality that you want to experience. Picture your mind is this interdimensional quantum jump machine. Your consciousness is the captain at the helm of this machine, right? You're at the giant wheel. Ahead of you is this massive branching fractal, like quantum field of possible realities that are ahead of you. And you are like a navigator. You are able to move. If you're here, you can go this way, you can go this way. This way leads to all these possibilities. This way leads to all these possibilities. You can end up wherever you want on whichever branch just by being conscious of it, just by navigating properly. If you're here and you want to get over here, if you're in this state of, let's say, like doubt or lack or fear, and you want to get over here to this state of abundance, of clarity, you need to navigate. You need to navigate through these different nodes. Set your coordinates to this point, right? Understand, what does that reality feel like? That reality that I want to be experiencing. What type of things am I experiencing on like a thought level, on an emotion level, and on a sensation level? Am I experiencing what sounds do I hear? What type of music is a good one? What smells are around me? What type of experiences am I having? What type of people am I meeting? What does it feel like to be around those people? What emotions do I feel when I wake up in the morning? What emotions do I feel when I'm going to bed at night? How does my body feel throughout the day? How are my energy levels throughout the day? Picture all of these things. Begin to visualize all of these things. Think about what it feels like. Imagine what it feels like. This is the power of imagination, right? The imagination is actually like, it's what conjures the reality. Like, it starts in the imagination and then it manifests in reality. Begin to have that. Begin to visualize that. And when you're doing that, all of those things that I just mentioned, all of those details, they are the entry points. They are the waypoints that are sort of guiding this journey towards that desired reality. And that desired reality is a dimension. It is an aesthetic domain. It's its own thing. It's its own reality that is defined by all of these different sort of details, these ways of measuring the experience. This strategy of sort of like setting milestones almost, or setting like points along a journey where you can sort of recognize, okay, this is an indicator that I'm on this trajectory. That will actually, like, you know, for the average person who isn't, you know, a complete master of, you know, jumping from dimension to dimension, this will allow you to sort of hone your ability to do that and begin to have more trust in your ability to do this, basically by having little moments or check-in points where you're able to recognize that the manifestation is taking place. The moment that you have the first thought that begins to magnetically attract you towards the dimension that you want to be living in, you will already, in many ways, have made that jump fully. The problem is, or I guess not a problem, but like the obstacle, or like the way that this becomes like more of a practice rather than just like this instantaneous thing, is that we have programming, right? Like, we have these patterns and these habits of thoughts. And so you'll do this quantum jump in your brain, but then you'll open your eyes and you'll be like, oh, I'm still in this reality. Like, I haven't actually shifted. And then that thought brings you back to the original reality. So it's a very tricky thing, because your mind is so powerful that you can like switch at will, but your mind is also so powerful that you can switch like without actually intending to. This is the benefit of making this a practice, is you have the experience of attracting yourself towards the aesthetic domain that you're wanting to experience. You're feeling what it feels like, and you don't even have to close your eyes. It doesn't have to be this meditative thing. You can literally just be sitting. You could be like on your phone. You could be anywhere, doing anything, and you have the experience. And in that moment, it's a quantum jump, right? Continuing to do that, continuing to have that experience, to sort of reprogram your brain to be more conscious of this. You're going to be experiencing these, like, you know, higher vibrational thoughts and feelings more often, which is going to just like raise the baseline of your mood. And then things are going to start happening, like in your external reality, that will confirm to you that you have set this trajectory. So this could be anything from, well, I mean, it could literally be anything, because it all depends on what you want. If you want to experience this, things are going to start happening that are more in alignment, more in resonance with this that you want to experience. But if you want to experience this, things are going to start happening that are more in alignment with that experience. And you might not even recognize it at first, but once you do recognize it, it's going to solidify, it's going to validate, and it's going to confirm that the practice and the work that you've been doing of reprogramming your mind and beginning to become conscious of your shifting is working, and it's actually influencing the external, or it's influencing which reality you're in. Once you sort of internalize that, you're going to become a lot better at trusting your capacity to do so. And the more you trust, the more those signs are going to ramp up, and the more those signs ramp up, the more you're going to trust. And it's this virtuous cycle, this like self-validating exponential process, to which you're going to just much more rapidly begin to enter into this like reality that you want to experience. And yeah, as you do that, you'll get better at that, and eventually it'll get to the point where you're able to just do it like completely instantaneously. And again, you've been able to do that the whole time. It's just a matter of being able to trust it and being able to recognize when you're doing it, how you're doing it, and which reality you are moving towards. Whether it's something that you want to experience or something that you don't want to experience. Being able to perceive that, being able to hone your sense for that process, which is, again, is an ongoing process. It's happening all the time and everyone's doing it. But this is how you do it consciously. And this is how you become an interdimensional traveler. So yeah, that's literally it. And yeah, good luck. Now you know.